What's going on, everyone? I am the only channel on YouTube that goes over all of the trades that I make completely for free, that I post on Twitter. And then not only that, I go into detail about why I'm buying and selling everything as I do it. All right, so today is episode number 4. I'm going to go over the trades that I made on Thursday and Friday. Since Friday, I take it very light. We were 5 for 7 Thursday and Friday. So we're going to go ahead and cover all of these nice trades. All right, so without further ado, before I start, thank you so much for your likes, comments, and subscribes. And without further ado, let's get right into it. So now, before I go into each trade in detail, what I want to talk about is what the overall market was doing while the market opened. Okay, so on the 15th, we closed very, very green, but then September 16th, which is the day that I'm going over the trades, the market opened up pretty stagnant. So we barely really made a move downward. So what this means is we're starting to be a bit wary, but it wasn't a huge downward move and it wasn't a huge upward move. So it means that, we're going to go into this market trading day, and look for good potential setups. We don't have a clear bias. If we opened up, so we closed here, but if we opened up above the 20 exponential moving average and we opened up here, then our bias for the day would be very bullish. That means we would be leaning towards calls and the long side. And the same thing, if we opened up down here, we would be leaning bearish. And, so essentially, because we opened up stagnant, we didn't really have that much of a bias going in. All right, so now let's go into the first trade, which was a clove call that I posted at 9:44 a.m. So you can see that I posted this here at 9:44 a.m. I said that it needed to hold 8.4. Okay, and another thing that I said was that last week, essentially, right? It was quad witching week, and quad witching occurs on Friday, right? And because of an extremely volatile trading market, it was very difficult for me to share many trades that people could have gotten into, right? But just purely for the sake of learning, and for the sake of me wanting to share the fact that I can make, good callouts, I just shared everything. So regardless of whether or not people followed them or not, I wanted people to be able to look at the timestamps, see my notes of why I wanted to enter certain plays, and then they would be able to learn from there. All right. So Clove, 9:44 a.m. I bought into calls. Let's look at the chart. All right. So this is a 1-minute chart of Clove. It opened up, it gapped up. Right, so things were very, very bullish, and I wanted to wait for a bit of a pullback and get into calls and signal you guys in play. All right, so we saw that it created a huge upward move and then a bit of a downside move. That is exactly what I was waiting for. So at 9:44, I said that 8.4 needed to hold. So 8.4 is this level right here. And you could see that it was the high of this previous candle, and it was essentially the lows of this candle and of this candle, right? So I posted that I was buying into calls at 9:44 a.m. So obviously I had to start typing everything and order my own play and everything in this candle. So I saw that we were holding 8.4 here, and it was a very good opportunity to have a very tight stop loss on a play, right? So we entered here, and I essentially, we got a very, very good bounce very quickly. And at 9:46, I alerted that I was selling for plus 16%. So if you had gotten in, well, within a minute, you would be up at least 10% if you gotten in within a minute, right? And that trade essentially really, really worked out. We were extremely overbought on the MACD and extremely overbought on the RSI. We created some sort of stagnation on the RSI, leading into another, so we created some stagnation, right here with these 2 minutes. And usually what this stagnation means is there's going to be a vomiting move to the downside. So this candle was that vomiting to the downside. And once that happened, the MACD became oversold a bit and the RSI sharply fell. Not only that, we held 8.4 as support. So all of those things put together, that was a very good opportunity for a scalp to the upside, and that's exactly what happened. That trade worked out perfectly. All right. Next, we're gonna look at Lucid. I posted this at 9:48 a.m. All right, so let's look at the chart. All right, here's Lucid. Posted this at 9:48. I said that 2068 needed to hold. All right, so this is a chart of Lucid. Let's go to 9:48 right here. Said that 2068. Why? So, essentially what I wanted to do here was that I saw that also Lucid was, very, very bullish into the day, right? We had a huge upward move, and then very similarly, I was waiting for a pullback. And, you know, we were extremely overbought on the RSI. I wanted to wait for, a much better buying opportunity. So even by this point, we were extremely oversold on the MACD, but the price continued going lower. So I just kept on being patient and waiting and waiting. 2068 essentially was the lows of the day, right? It was the 1 minute, it was the first minute low of the day so far. So I was waiting for that, and essentially, at 9:48, I saw that we were creating multiple layers of support above 2077, right? And I saw that that was holding us support. If we did fall back down even lower, then I didn't think we would fall down below 2068. But if we did, it would have to be after we bounced up a bit. All right. So I got into calls here because the MACD started to move upward now, and the RSI was still moving downward, right? But I saw this as a good factor of momentum starting to shift forward, right, and go upward while support was being held. So those were two reasons why I entered the trade. And essentially, I entered it, obviously at 9:47. The alert went out by 9:48, and I said that 2068 needed to hold, and then I sold at 9:50. So why did I sell at 9? Is because we had a huge pop, right? And then what ended up happening was, uh, like the price of the option, like did not move fast enough compared to the you know, like the price of the option did not move fast enough according to the speed at which the stock itself moved. So the stock moved very, very quickly, and it was supposed to be this move right here should have been a like very good move, right? It should have given at least much more than 13%, but it didn't give more than 13%, and I took that as a warning signal. So because there was a huge, big, quick pop, but not enough price increase in the option. And I said that there was going to be a dump incoming, right, at 9:50. I said, waiting for a dump now. And at 9:52, we dumped way past 2068 into a new low for the day at 2059, right? So this trade ended up working, right? The calls ended up working. But then, by 9:51, 9:52, the MACD already became overbought. And it became overbought while failing to cross above levels of resistance. So that's why I sold at 950 here. And even this candle, like if you sold at the end of 950, even on this candle here, we were still above at least like 10% from the entry point. And that's not really supposed to always happen because all right, I'm going a bit into detail here on option price volatility and things like that. But overall, like this was a bit of a warning signal that we popped up so much, but the price didn't increase. And I saw that there was a potential dump incoming soon afterward, and that's exactly what happened, right? So overall, that was a very nice trade for Lucid. Next trade, we're gonna go ahead and check out Space. I posted this at 9:53. All right, so let's go ahead and check that out. So I posted this at 9:53. It needed to hold 24.12. So here is 9:53. I said that it needed to hold 24.12. 24.12 was essentially around the lows for the day so far, right? And we held this level of support twice. So At 9:53, I saw that this level still held, and it was a good opportunity to have a quick scalp to the upside with a tight stop loss. And also, again, space was doing very, very bullishly for the day. And I bought at a perfect level of support and alerted it right here at 9:53. I ended up selling it at 9:55. So the reason why I sold here was, um, you know, we did make a quick move, but it wasn't. It didn't look like it was going to be sustainable, right? Because the MACD had increased so sharply already, and the RSI was stagnant. So what I didn't see with the RSI was the RSI being stagnant as we move up. It could have signaled a downward move or an upward move. But the fact that the MACD sharply already crossed into um it was showing so much strength with not as much strength in the stock. So I took that as a warning. But I caught the bottom very perfectly. It was a good opportunity for a learning experience or a teaching lesson for people. I was in the scalp for like 2 minutes. I could have held for much longer. We would have been up much higher, but of course, there were so many different opportunities. I didn't bother um to hold. So yeah, so essentially we bought at support perfectly. We were going to keep a tight stop loss, and essentially we played a quick scalp to the upside on space. That's really it. And this was a very, very quick mover, but I just wanted to have a good opportunity to share a learning experience. All right, so that was a profitable trade. And the next trade was a loss on Clove. I posted it 10:02 a.m. So let's go ahead and check that out. All right, here's Clove. I said that it needed to hold 838, and essentially I entered here, and 838 was a level of support. Essentially, down here we can see that it was acting as a multiple touches here at this level of support. Again, Clove was extremely bullish into this move here. We were creating a bull flag. The two issues in regards to the technical side were that the MACD was extremely overbought while we were really just what's the word? Accumulating. So usually when the MACD is stagnant while we're accumulating while overbought, that would mean that there's usually going to be a sell-off, right? And in the moment, I saw that we were extremely bullish. It was worth taking a scalp to the upside. And the RSI was also just not as stellar, right? Um so 10:02, I said that 8:38 was support. I ended up, getting the post up by here. Um, and then essentially I sold, so sold at 10:08. Um, so I just kept on holding. I waited, and then this candle here, it broke 10:08. It broke 8:38, right? This candle, and I ended up selling for -percent, right? So, um, you know, for this trade, I should have waited for the MACD to get not as overbought. I should have waited for things to be a bit. I should have just waited a bit more. Gotten a bit more patient. I should have seen that this move to the upside. Not many people would have been able to get any calls here. So when institutions or banks or other traders, etc., are not able to get into a good price, what they usually do is they try to bring it back down and get it at a better price. So that's kind of what happened here. But by the time we did dump, the MACD became extremely oversold, but we kept on dumping. So yeah. Overall, that was my thought process for that trade. But yeah, it was a decent. It just didn't work out. The next trade was BBIG at 10:12 a.m. Let's go ahead and check that out. So this was a textbook trade. I posted this at 10:12. I said that 8:30 needed to hold. So at 10:12, why did I say that 8:30? Right. So 8:30 was essentially this level of support here. Down here, this was low, right? And overall, heading into the day, BBIG was pretty bearish. gap down, but then it started showing lots of volume and started to really, really like shoot up, skyrocket forward, right? So I saw this move, and then essentially I was waiting for a downward move and some sort of support and capitulation, not capitulation, accumulation, right? And that's exactly what happened. We fell sharply, right? The MACD ended up becoming extremely overbought or oversold. The RSI became stagnant, and we held support, right? And I said that, let's just hold 8 point. And at 10:12, I entered here, and the levels of support clearly held. We held this, these past two candles here acted as support, and then at 10:12, we held support here again. 13, 10, 14, all throughout these minutes we held and created very, very nice. And I ended up selling at 10:16 a.m. A few minutes later at high here. So this was a perfect buy and sell. I sold at the highs. And then what ended up happening after, like, this was a textbook trade. This was perfect. Lots of people made money. What ended up happening afterward was we fell back down to that same level of support, made a higher low. So these lows right here are technically higher than the lows here. So we made a higher low, bullish. The MACD was also oversold, and we ended up skyrocketing. Those contracts would have been worth like 100, 150%. But oh well, like overall, just really, really nice trade. And especially in super fast, choppy markets, when you do have a successful success rate, oh, can't beat yourself up. There's no time for what ifs. You can't regret anything, and you can't overthink. Oh my god! Oh, if I held, I'll be up 50%. Blah, blah, blah. You don't get rich overnight. Stop trying to hit home runs. Worry about making consistent base hits. Okay. So BBIG worked out perfectly. The next trade was Clove again. Favorite for the day. I posted this at 10:20 a.m. and I guess I sold a cent later. Let's see the chart of Clove. All right, so I said that I was buying Clove at 10:20, 8:28, really tight stop loss. Okay. All right, posted 20, and you can see that stop loss was very, very tight. Hold 8, 8, 8, right low. Um, support level that we were creating. It was the highs of this candle here, right? So it was a good level of support that I saw. Uh, and I entered, right? Uh, this was just a textbook. Hey, we're at support. The MACD became overbought, which was a not a good sign. Also, we could have learned from the previous trade. The MACD was extremely bought, and the RSI was uh, wonky. The RSI here was also very stagnant, and while the MACD was overbought. So, I could have seen that as a warning signal as well. But usually, when when we sharply fall like, and then we're creating some support, if we don't quickly start skyrocketing, then all of this accumulation is bearish, and it'll just dump afterward. All right. So if we look here, um, I posted I'm selling some break even, leaving a very small position. Looks wonky and risky, but worth the study. So I posted it at 10:22. The candle had gotten, so we shot up, right? And um, so this was supposed to be the signal of us moving upward, right? What ended up happening was, um, we couldn't sustain this move upward, and then that's when I started typing all of this because we couldn't sustain it. So I sold some at break even, and then we ended up breaking through the level of support. So that trade, essentially was a successful trade. It was worth the study. We found a support level. We just, it is what it is. Not every trade works out, and that's fine, right? So those were my trades for Thursday, right? But then I made one trade on Friday, on the quad witching day. So that was a SPY put that I posted at 1:08 p.m. So now heading into Friday, the market closed on Thursday very, very strong, and it gapped down to Friday. Okay. So the overall assumption and the direction that we're going to be trading is going to be bearish, right? Especially because Friday was quad witching day. And usually what happens during that day and that week is it's very, very volatile and things sell off. So I saw that as a good opportunity. At 1:08 p.m., I alerted that I was buying into puts. Why? All right. Eight. Oh, 1:08. Yep. So I got into puts right here, but I posted it at one, right? And no particular reason really. Just I knew that the overall direction of the market was going to be lower. I saw that we were creating a bear flag, right? Um, and we were just, accumulating at these levels, and it looked like there was going to be a more downward after. So I was correct at that, and especially when you look at the daily candle of the SPY, see that it was very, very bearish also. Um, but of course, when did I sell it? So I sold it at 1:53 p.m. for a 17% gain. Um, Swinging these light positions. Cool. All right. So I sold at 1:53 p.m. All right. And the reason for that was, we started really vomit. And so I entered at 1:08 over here, right? And by the time I sold at 1:53, which was literally the low here, and we caught that entire move very, very nicely and perfectly. Made good chunk of money on a very safe contract. I got contracts for 2 weeks out, and those were up 17% in less than an hour. So those were very like it was a very, very good trade. We got the bottom of the day, so that's really nice. Still holding on to some, uh, in a potential that we would close lower. But overall, that was a really, really nice trade. Now I guess we go ahead and look at the daily candle of the SPY, so you'll get a better understanding. So the reason why I was swinging these was that if we closed below prior levels of support, so this was a prior level of support here at 443.22. Also, this was a prior level of support, this orange at 442.67, and it looked like we were going to close below both of those levels. So if we were going to close below both of those levels, then I thought that heading into Monday, we were going to vomit down even lower. So those contracts that I bought, these would be up at least 30 to 40%. That's what was going on in my mind. But since we made such a sharp move, uh, and made 17% in a short amount of time, I took some profit. And now my thesis is Monday, what might end up happening is we will fall down a bit lower, and that's when I will cash out on the rest of these swings. Overall, this is not bullish. We closed clearly below multiple levels of support, and now we're trading outside of the lower level of the B band. So let's see if we can fall back down lower on the SPY. But overall, those were my trades, and that was my analysis for those trades. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you.